And Grapefruit will be part of the remarkable coalition led by the UNFPA.
We're yet to realize the vast potential, the energy, and the talents of the almost 2 billion young people that traverse the earth today. 90% of them are in the developing world. They have no access to reproductive health, and they are married away too often, too early, and they bear children too early. So they never reach their potential. And I think that's what we all must do to liberate those energies and ensure that every young woman, particularly, has that access, and we protect the space and the rights for them to be able to reach their potential.
We invest in women and girls because doing so is essential to solve the world's most challenging problems.
I was engaged when I was 5 years old, was supposed to be married when I reached 13 or 12 years old. I had to negotiate with my dad to undergo female genital cutting so that I can go to school. I told him I would go through this if you let me go back to school. And when I came to this country, it's as if the whole world opened up for me. I didn't know that female genital cutting was against the law. I didn't know that I had the right to go to school. I didn't know so many things. And the more I read about it, I got so angry. And I wanted to do so much. And when I go back to the village, the girls were getting married, they were getting mutilated, their dreams were being shattered. And to me, I said, you know, this should not be happening. The moment we started building the school, the moment the girls are starting to come to school, everybody wants to be part of a success story. And you know, the men are part of that, and it's going very great. We have 94 girls. And what is so, for me, is so amazing is that when I talk to the girls, they all want to be doctors, they want to be pilots, they want to be lawyers. But behind every story, why they want to do that is because they want to give back.
Fistula is a childbearing injury that occurs when a woman has an obstructed labor. She's obstructed prolonged labor, and she's unassisted. And in most cases, this results in her losing the baby. And then she's left with an injury that leaves her incontinent, which is a hole, and fistula is that hole. That's what that means. And it's a terrible condition, and often because of the smell, they're abandoned by their husband, and then after this, they can also be abandoned by the whole community, and they're left on their own. As far as the men in the community, a lot of these men want their women to be healthy and happy, but because of poverty, in some cases they didn't have the money to afford to get their wife to the hospital, which is miles and miles and miles away. And we found that including them in what we were doing, lifting the taboo off the subject, we noticed a really big change.
We have, as others have talked about already, a population around the world of 60% by some counts under the age of 30. And women and girls are a critical part of that demographic that are being left behind far too often. So what I would like to see is the people of nations all around the world and civil society, and we have an incredible group here today, joining arms with their governments to demand a response to this moment. What we did in the US government was gather together a task force of people from every office in the government and decide how we were going to change the game on responding to youth, and within that, really making sure that women aren't left behind.
The one word nobody's actually mentioned, which is sex. And we're all very uncomfortable around sex, but where's the sex in family planning? Where's the sex in, 7 billion? It all comes back to sex. And we need to invest in young people really understanding and knowing what that is, what their rights are, what the information is that they need to know to be able to protect themselves and to lead sort of really healthy lives, and to be able to then go to school and get employment, et cetera, et cetera.
I met with young women who were living in a safe house in the Philippines who had been rescued from trafficking. And it was just this incredible reality of what it is that young girls and women are going through around the world. But what I really took note of, actually, is the resilience. The absolute, undoubted, just incredible resilience of these young women that people always say, wow, you met with girls that have been trafficked, and that must have been so challenging. And I said, my God, it was actually so inspiring because these girls have actually been rescued from this situation, and now it's really about empowering them and endowing them with so much confidence and understanding that we don't get to necessarily choose our lot in life, but from that moment that you can have that sense of self and that centeredness, you can make choices today that will affect not only your life but also liberate other people.